Hello my friends, I know that I'm speaking already the third time about this operation of the Ukrainian soldiers in Konstantinivka and those Syrskyi and Zelensky portraits, but we have some more information that came as the confirmation from Skala Brigade, and they say that their soldiers are being imprisoned. So those individuals, they're the soldiers of the Skala regiment. Yeah, before I told like Skala Brigade, but actually it's a regiment. The Skala is even bigger than the Corps because it has lots of the brigades inside, and Syrskyi really invested into Skala. They have regular reinforcements, they have the flow of the people who are usually mobilized, and this is the analog of the Russian army, I would say, Skala, but with better supplies, better everything, but the attitude towards the soldiers, you see. So yeah, this is the portrait. I already told about it in the previous videos, but I want to tell you about this one. So this is the Skala, the translation in English statement regarding the capture of our servicemen in Konstantinivka. So the regiment Skala is aware of the information circulating in the Russian sources about the capture of our servicemen. We are currently working to establish all of the circumstances of the incident. We cannot disclose details of the operation in the city. Russian propaganda is trying to release separate episode of the battle as it reflects the outcome of entire operation in Konstantinivka. So the fighting is ongoing in the city, and individual success or losses do not change the overall picture of the battle. For the regiment, the fate of the captured is an extremely painful topic, but above all, our fighters remain alive, and the regiment is doing everything possible for their swiftest return home. So they confirm that those soldiers are the soldiers of their regiment who were captured. During the same battles, our servicemen also captured 2 occupiers. This once again confirms prisoners of war were taken and are not a part of any separate episode that Russian propaganda is. So they also like capture Russian prisoners of war. Russians capture them, yeah. War is not made up only of victories. Successful completing of combat mission does not mean the absence of losses. After any clearance, the enemy tries to recover lost positions and conduct counterattacks. So it was the Ukrainian advancement to that building, and later on the Russians also went there. Demonstrations of Ukrainian prisoners of war do not indicate anything about the situation in Konstantinivka, but rather about the enemy regiment's attempt to use prisoners of war as the tool of information warfare, aiming to demoralize Ukrainian society and discredit military command. We are awaiting the return of every one of our servicemen and urge everyone to help the enemy spread this manipulation. Like, you sent soldiers with the pictures, it was a freaking PR mission, and you confirm yourself that the soldiers were imprisoned. Those soldiers were out there not for combat mission, but to show that Syrskyi is winning this war together with Zelensky. They have the portraits, yeah? And you just confirmed that they were captured. And this is Cyberborshno. I made also the auto-translate. Having completed our own investigation, we can confirm that the people shown in the video are servicemen of Skala, yes, who were captured while they were on positions in that same building. The 425th Separate Assault Regiment Skala has issued an official statement where they could not confirm that it was the Russian PSYOP or IPSO. The main position of the Union Command is war is not made up of victories alone. We all understand that in war there are losses on both sides. The question is whether the specific military task that led to the capture was justified is a matter for the military command to decide, not just the media effect or support the generals. So what was the purpose of them to be there? Like, they were captured, and we have from the Cyberborshno that according to their own investigation, those soldiers are definitely Ukrainians. Well, this is a big fuck up for Syrskyi personally, because you show this success with your freaking stupid face, and then the soldiers are being captured by Russians. Well, luckily they're alive, at least like that. But this is a big fuck up. At first I thought that it's fake because Russians left rifles, but those rifles were without magazines. However, they left rifles like this is idiotism, and that was the main reason why I thought that it was the Russian PSYOP. But now with those statements from Skala directly, they confirm that the soldiers were imprisoned in Konstantinivka, and also Cyberborshno plus many more, like it seems like those were Ukrainians. I gave yesterday just a tiny little chance for it to happen, but now it seems like, yeah, definitely my first video about this issue was correct. That's why I didn't delete it, because we didn't know, and now we have more and more confirmation coming that it was the Ukrainian failed operation for Syrskyi's personal PR. Tatarigami UA, the official page of Skala regiment, has confirmed that the soldiers recently shown in a video from Konstantinivka holding portraits of Syrskyi and Zelensky, who later appeared in the Russian video as prisoners of war, were indeed members of the Skala regiment. This is a big fuck up. And the source, yeah, this is the same like information. They shared it on Facebook, and I made the translation. The statement of Ukrainian Cyberborshna, which concluded their own investigation, yeah, they can confirm that those are the members of Skala Brigade. Andrew say that we've had proof of Skala operating here for a while now, but didn't publish for OPSEC purposes. And some people say, like, I have a personal email from someone saying that, oh, they put down Ukrainian flag, so they're not Ukrainians. Come on, if you are at the edge to be flatlined, if there is the threat, like people are pointing machine rifle at you, you would put everything down. Your flag, not your flag, just to stay alive. Come on, it's a usual, normal thing.
Спасибо 4-й бригаде 2-го ТРО.
They didn't step on the flags, they step over, yeah?
Спасибо 4-й бригаде 2-го ТРО.
And I told you about that they have Ukrainian accent. It's not like Russian language. Well, there are lots of the separatists also fighting for Russia, but in this case, like if we have the confirmation from Cyberborshna, if we have the confirmation from Skala Brigade themselves that their soldiers were imprisoned, yeah, and Cyberborshna says that those are the servicemen of Skala, so Ukrainians. In this case, this Russian video looks legit. That it was a stupid freaking fucking PR operation. I was crazy, mad. Then I saw those guys with Syrskyi's portrait, and immediately I recorded the video. But if it ended like that, this is the pinnacle of stupidity. Like, well, at least they're alive, yeah. The conditions in the Russian prisons, it's not good, but hopefully they will be exchanged, that's it. Terrible, terrible situation. And that's why people, they are going on protests against, well, if before it was for Fedorov to renew him in position as the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, now it's anti-Syrskyi protests. And Syrskyi means the entire Ukrainian army system. The system that flatlines own soldiers, own army, that uses resources and not in the proper way, the corrupt system, so that's why people are there. It's not, oh, they're protesting just to support Fedorov, one guy, and they're ruining everything. It's not like that. It's not about Fedorov any longer. Fedorov was the trigger for those protests to happen. Now it's against the old Soviet command. And today Zelensky went on a meeting before he spoke with top Ukrainian commanders, also Commander Drapati, by the way. And according to Bloomberg, maybe Drapati might become the next general commander of the Ukrainian army. Syrskyi understood that his situation becomes worse and worse, especially with those propaganda failed PR stunts, and he published like a big article about himself, how good he is for Ukrainian army, and that he didn't have any sort of the confrontations with Fedorov, but Fedorov says that it's like that. They have the confrontations with this old Soviet system. Syrskyi is not willing to change. Syrskyi is an obstacle for Ukraine to win in this war. So with Syrskyi, Fedorov openly said Ukraine cannot win. And in his briefing, Fedorov was really open to people, and people trust him. That's why people are protesting. So I expect now some of the changes. And all of the attempts of Syrskyi to improve his failed reputation, they're just for nothing. He instead digging him down more and more. People are not buying that shit any longer. Yeah, see, on Twitter, on Telegram channels, there are paid influencers who spread pro-Syrskyi propaganda, can I call it, whitewashing his actions, Skala Brigade, and all of those crimes actually that Syrskyi did before, but it is not working. Why is it like that? Why someone invests in campaign against Fedorov and saying that all of those people who are protesting, they're paid agents of Kremlin? Like, this is so stupid. Well, you see, there are some of the corrupt companies in Ukraine. They also manufacture some of the military equipment, sometimes not really okay military equipment, and Fedorov closed the oxygen for them because he wants the real competition. But before Fedorov, the companies got the direct access to the budget money because it was like this mafia, corrupt system. Government was just purchasing the stuff from those companies without any sort of the tenders. So it was affiliated with someone in a government company. They get the access to money, also European money. And the final production was not a competitive one, or maybe it was, but it was way more expensive than it could be. It is called corruption. So the system that Fedorov wanted to apply full scale is eliminating the stuff. So there is a real competition. But Syrskyi doesn't like it because there is definitely a mafia. And it's not just about Syrskyi. Removal of Syrskyi is not enough. All of the systems should be changed. Also, I'm sure that some of the friends of this guy who is sitting at the end of the table, they're also into this. For example, Yermak. It is understandable that even though officially Yermak was laid off from the president's office, but he still has communication with Zelensky, and it was proved. Because the day Fedorov was dismissed, Yermak somehow went to meet Syrskyi in Syrskyi's office. Yermak, who is under freaking investigation and who wears a bracelet, well, he was spotted by journalists. And those journalists also say that representatives of Yermak, they constantly go to the president's office. So there is the communication between Zelensky and Yermak still via some of the mediators. So yes, I have just a hope that Drapati could be the next general commander of Ukrainian army, but also he needs to change everyone there. If you change the head only without applying real reforms, it would not help, and Drapati should come with his own team there to replace everyone appointed by Syrskyi and all of those Soviet commanders, especially from the Moscow school as Syrskyi. Every evening in a park of Franco, I think that's the place in Kiev, people are going on protests, also in different cities as well, and this place is not that far away from the president's office of Ukraine. Okay, again this guy with this, can I call it a portrait of Zelensky? And Dylan Burns comments, Ukrainian democracy is alive and well. Yeah, it's probably the most funny way how to show mistakes of Ukrainian president. Not sure if he can backtrack everything back, but he understood already, even though there is no direct communication with people, but he understood that he fucked up in this whole situation and some of the decisions will be made. And just right now, the chances for Syrskyi to go, they're higher compared to what it was yesterday and the day before. So Ukrainian people, they show what should be done. Hey guys, I hope I'm gonna finish to film about Syrskyi and all of this beef in the Ukrainian army, you know, the crisis that was created out of nothing. But no matter what, I'm staying positive. I'm sure that Ukraine will rule out it somehow in one or other way, and Ukraine will win after all. I think we are heading towards the collapse of the Russian regime, not the Ukrainian one. Ukraine might have many of the issues, but the main thing that Ukrainians themselves, they resist against Russian aggression. That's the goal. And there could be some internal enemies. Those enemies are quite powerful. Nevertheless, I think our guys will handle it. And I trust in Ukrainian army. And I hope for the change of their leadership. Well, guys, it's all what I want to tell here, and please support my job on Patreon, and also you may join the membership of YouTube channel if you watch me on YouTube by pressing button join. My friends, you're awesome, you're amazing, thank you so much for your kind support, and don't forget to press your like to this video and subscribe to the channel. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.